Hi everybody, this is Stephanie. So we're going to loom along here. This is going to be the basket weave stitch. I'm showing you really quick the pegs that you're going to be using. If you have seen the previous video, you already have your loom lined up, but I'm going to show you anyways. I'm showing you a demonstration of what we're going to accomplish today. You're going to have 20 pegs. You're going to have 12 in the center and 4 on both sides of the edges for the edges. I'm so sorry. The edges borders, the garter stitch edges, sorry. So we're gonna have that color coded right from the get-go. Now I'm going to show you the cast on that I just used. If you're coming from the previous video, then you could still have that basic square on there, and all you would do is E-wrap cast on. You would just do one E-wrap all the way across and you will start counting your rows. That would be row 1. And on the way back, you'll start your purls and that'll be row 2. That is the simplest cast on / like being able to put on a new square. So that is an option. I will show that in future videos if you are still not sure on what I mean about adding on the next square. This square from your pattern, your purple one. Really quick here, we're on row 2. I've just showed you the cast on that I chose, which is this 2 E-wraps on each peg and knit over one over the other. Now we're going to be on row 2 and we're E-wrapping. So this is a time where I'm going to have you just do the garter stitch edging, and it is just 10 rows of your knit 1 row and purl 1 row. So I'm going to have you do that, and then you're going to pause the video and then come back when it's all complete. And again, if you're coming from a previous video, then you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, you just have to know the garter stitch, and I'm showing it to you right now. You E-wrap, knit a row, and then on the way back, you'll purl. And you're going to count your rows. Every time you purl and you're making a left, it'll be an even row. So here you go. I have it on screen in case I'm confusing you. I'm so sorry if I am. I'm trying to do both methods to see which one is better for you guys. So there'll be written instructions on the screen, as well as me giving you a verbal understanding. So I'm go ahead and pause the video. Here's the pattern for the next 6 rows. And yeah, I'm going to show you as well. Here I grabbed some kind of marker to help me color, color code these pegs in the center, since we're going to be changing it up to doing the basket weave stitch. I use washi tape. You can use any type of marker that's easily accessible for you. Rubber bands, washi tape. There's little markers that are like rings. I slit them and I'm able to put them on my pegs during, my working yard is already there. So just different options. I also recommend having a piece of paper on the side and marking off each row. So I'm going to show you really quick. We E-wrap because we're on row 11, and we still E-wrap our garter stitches at the edges. You keep that the same. The garter stitch will always be for the color-coded pegs. So now we're going to start our basket weave sequence, and here with the washi taped pegs that our markers are going to always have these same stitches. So right now we're going to purl those 4. And then we're going to E-wrap the next 4. And then we're going to purl the following 4. So notice how the washi taped markered pegs are the same pattern. We alternate this little center portion of 12 pegs with 3 different patterns, and it's going to stay that way for 6 rows. That way our portion, our yarn, our square will develop a sequence, a pattern, the first step. And then we're going to go back to just E-wrapping. We're on row 11. Now we're going to move on to a purl row, which is an even number, row number 12. And we're going to purl just the 4 that are color-coded for our edges. It's so glad you don't have to think about that. Having your color-coded pegs there, you just got to focus on the basket weave pattern here. And we purled, so we're going to purl again. We're keeping it the same for 6 rows. We're giving it enough rows to show us that pattern. And we're going to E-wrap these 4, just like we did before. And we're going to purl. And again, we're going to our color-coded pegs, and it is a purl row, so we're going to purl our color-coded pegs to keep that edge the same. I love being able to have these bordered squares. I think they're the funnest things. They're perfect to learn new patterns with, and it keeps you entertained. And because I get bored with patterns, and if it's a big project, halfway through I'm like, all right, I'm done. I hate to say it, but it's true. Now we're moving on to row 13. We E-wrapped the color-coded pegs for our garter stitch. We kept our 12 center pegs the same. Another purl 4, E-wrap 4, and then we're going to go back to purling 4 again. So if you had written the pattern in the initially, you'll have that on your paper. You can break it down in rows and mark each row, or as you can do it with me, or you can pause it. So I'm hoping I'm giving you a good understanding of the process. So we're E-wrapping these because we were on an odd row. We're moving on to row number 14. I was trying to remember. I'm so glad I marked them here on screen in case you get confused on what to do. You can always pause the video per row and do it along with me. I just sped it along so that way it wasn't as long of a video. If you do want me to break this down even further, just please comment down below. I do hope I'm being thorough but not taking so much of your time. So here we are doing the same technique for these 12 stitches, or these 12 pegs. We're purling. It's gonna be from row 11 all the way to row 16. So we're almost done with the first set of our basket weave. And then we'll have another 6-row set, and then the total amount of 12 rows completes your basket weave, and then you repeat those 12 rows again. All right, we're on row 15. We're going to E-wrap. We always E-wrap on the odd rows for our edges. And again, we're purling because that's what we've been doing. And we're going to continue to do for these 6 rows. We're going to E-wrap the 4 in the center that is not marked by the washi tape, or in your case, any marker you're using. And then we're going to purl. And I do knit as I go, as you notice. It just helps with the tension to remain a nice flow. I don't want things to be too loose on one end or too tight, so I knit as I go. I'm trying to show you right here that the pattern is starting to form. I hope you were able to see that. I purl again. Again, I'm going from rows 11 to 16. Okay, I'm pulling out my working yarn. I believe this is where we're going to alternate now. We've already done our 6 rows, and I'm just explaining to you guys. So now we're going to E-wrap like normal because it is a odd number, row 17. And I went ahead and now I alternated, and instead of doing our purls, we're going to E-wrap right here. And then we're going to purl these 4 and E-wrap the next 4. So that'll be our new technique, our pattern for the rows of 17 to 22. You can see here I'm in the midst of doing the E-wraps for our outer edges, the color-coded pegs. And we're going to purl because we are on row 18, an even row. And you're going to keep doing this for the next 17 to 22 rows. So, or this set, I guess. I hope I'm making sense. I know I do have this on fast forward, but I am trying to have both options, me explain it as well as have the written pattern on the screen that you can pause and write for yourself, and use a paper and a pencil to mark each row, or use a row counter. I'm going to be placing my Instagram account as well as a hashtag Loom Knit Squares. So if you join me on this baby blanket, I would love to see all the different types of squares that you come up with, especially different colors. I happen to be using shades of pink. All my practice ones, my initial beginning ones, were different colors, shades of blue, shades of purple. I cannot wait to show you my 12 by 12 squares. That's right, I'm going crazy, all out. I'm squared out. Okay, so we're still doing the same pattern. E-wrapping on these washi taped marker pegs and doing our garter stitches on the color coded pegs. We're jumping on to the next row. It is a purl row for the outer edges, row 20. So we're going to purl these 4. And we're going to E-wrap the ones that have washi tape. I think I'm going to be doing roughly 6 squares per column of my blanket, and then I might do either 6 columns or 8 columns. It depends on, well, a couple of things, how much yarn I have and how many squares I want to do. I am so excited, so I may just keep switching up colors. So if you want to be sure to check out the Instagram hashtag so you can see all the new squares and colors that I changed up. We're on row 21, one more row before we complete this set. I'm just letting you know the washi tape is there to help guide you. Markers are your friend, as well as color-coded pegs to make this happen. I was kind of hesitant to even start it, let alone to share it. I don't want this to be too complicated, but at the same time, since it's a small project, I felt like this would be easy enough to follow along. So just leave any questions or comments down below, and I'll do my best to get to you and solve any problems we may have. This is our last row for the set. It is row 22. We're going to purl like normal on our purl evened rows for our color-coded pegs. We're going to do the same thing we've been doing for these center pegs. We're going to E-wrap the 4 with the washi tape, and then we're going to purl the center 4 that have nothing on them to mark, and then we're going to E-wrap again for the washi taped markers, which may be a different marker for you. I hope I don't complicate this for you guys. I'm trying to do, again, like I said, the verbal instructions as well as written patterns. So let me know what you prefer. If you prefer me to verbally talk the pattern with you guys, or if you want the written instructions. Either or works for me. And here you have it. Now I'm going to have you do 2 more sets of the 6 rows, total out another 12 rows. And it's going to be 23 to 28, and also the 29 to 34. So definitely pause that video. Here we are, rows 35 to 44. You go back to the edge, which is always going to be the same as the first 10 rows you do, which is the garter stitch, and you just knit a row and purl a row, the entire row. You do that for 10 rows, rows 35 to 44. That will always be the same. You garter stitch 10 rows at the beginning and at the end of our pattern. Tune in, keep watching if you want to do a cast off. I also included the cast off on here. I do know if you do get confused, it is a different colored square. My camera was not rolling while I was doing the pink square. Thankfully, the cast on and off for the borders the edges are the same, so it does not matter what color yarn that is on my surface, that is on my loom. Tune in again, like I said, to the end for row 45 if you choose to cast off and sew all your squares at the end. However, if you want to keep it on the loom and start on to the next square with a simple color change to start your new square, you can also do that, and I will show you what I mean at the next video. So this is going to sum it up. I'm going to show you quick photos of the completed square you should have, of course in a different color if you choose to. And yeah, until next time, I hope you do as many squares as you want for your pattern, or you loom along with me as I provide a video every day of a new square with different variations to make this patchwork or solid granny squares. I don't know what to call it, to be honest. I'm just going to use the hashtag Loom Knit Squares, guys. And we'll go from there. As always, I hope you got inspired, and I hope you come back for some more. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.